Thank you, Dr. Devashish Kumar. Now the house is open for the questionnaire.
The question is to Dr. Pillai, my former colleague in CWC. You have rightly supported dams, we all know that. Why there is so much opposition to the dams? I feel one is vested interest. Okay, second is, I feel we have not done the work of resettlement of the displaced people to a proper extent. That's why all this resentment has come, which is being channelized by the NGOs. Any comments on this, or am I right?
See, as I was trying to tell, basically we have issue of development on one side. The demand of the water has to be met. Dams are only a means. Now, when we take dams as an engineering solution to take care of the supply side issues, then when you are not able to handle any aspect of the problem, then it is part of some, you can say, the institutional mechanism which has failed. So any issue of R&R is also part of the problem only. It's not outside the problem. When you pick up a dam and you start making a dam, you have statistics about the water availability, you have information about the geology, geography, everything. But don't you have the idea about the R&R issues? Even that is also part of the problem. So in a proper engineering solution, this cannot be excluded. In fact, engineering is lot of economics into engineering, as you already aware. Sociology is there, environmental issues are there. In fact, we are already taking care of this. Only thing is still in the implementation, maybe because we lack enough, strength to handle all these things. That is one area where we have been misfiring, I will say. Then the kind of pressure which comes up with the timelines, with the interventions by the court, by various stakeholders, I will say, but vocal stakeholders which present only a kind of a one-sided picture, which again triggers the decision-making process and comes back on the engineering as though it is something which engineer has to react to, not respond to. These things have been happening in India. So the issues which happen can be from the stakeholder end, which is should have been part of the engineering solution, but are not taken care of properly. And that's why we are in this kind of a situation. And any future roadmap has to take care of this. So R&R issues are going to be there, but a solution has to be found so as to overcome these challenges. I don't know whether I have been able to address your full question or not.
That's right. My only feeling is that we have not given a human touch to the solution. We see displaced people as numbers. 1,000 displaced, 500 resettled. What are those 500 doing? Whether they are getting all that needs to be added. Human touch needs to be added.
Okay, I'll give a slightly different angle to this. We have been talking about R&R issues related to dams. Typically, that is the only topic which we have been talking when it comes to the dam. But R&R issues are there with every development. In fact, there are more displaced people out of urbanization than by development of dams. And if you don't develop the dam, I can tell you that maybe 10 times more people are actually getting displaced by drought and floods than by the submergence of the dam, which are providing you a solution. This is not sufficient to justify that R&R should not be done properly. I'm only saying that we tend to apply a different yardstick when it comes to the dam, and altogether a different yardstick for all kind of other R&R issues. So that gives a skewed picture.
Hello. I have got 3 questions here. The first one is related to modified tank model. What are the types of input data you are given for that model? I think the question is to...
Is it addressed to?
Pardon? What are the input data you are given for modified tank model?
Question is to whom?
Okay, which I think belong to me.
Yeah, Dheeraj Kumar.
No, Dheeraj Kumar has presented a case study of restoration of a canal
sorry.
using geosynthetics.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it
Dr.
Dr. Syed?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, as I mentioned in my presentation, I considered the groundwater level observation data and also mainly precipitation, mainly evaporation, and also temperature. Because I consider the snow tank model, in that case, temperature is also necessary for this model.
Okay, second question is to you only.
Okay.
You have said, in the conclusion, you have said that the recharge is due to surface water. Suppose if you have rainfall in that area, the same time, how will you discriminate? Is it due to rainfall, recharge is due to rainfall, or surface water using this model?
Maybe as you know, Afghanistan, especially Kabul, is located in semi-arid area. We have just precipitation in winter, also in spring. In winter, I mentioned there is a snow, no runoff, but in spring, in the same time, also a snow melting. In that time, we have precipitation. In this case, a huge of water flows to the rivers. We have just 3 months runoff in the Kabul River. This is the only recharging area of the Kabul Basin groundwater. After that, about 6 to 8 months, we don't have precipitation. Also, in Kabul, precipitation is average about 300 millimeter per year. It's not sufficient to recharge groundwater directly. But the Kabul River is very effective to recharge groundwater in this time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The last question is for the electrical resistivity, that is to Dr. Devashish Kumar. There are so many softwares available for interpreting the 2D resistivity data. Which one will be the better one for interpretation so that we can find out there's cavity determination and potentials, everything together?
Yeah. As a software, you see more or less all softwares more or less same except with some modifications and some slight way of putting input parameters. The basic thing is that how best you collect the field data sets. Most of the organizations or most of the we have noticed that because many people I review, I find the data quality is very poor because the field itself they have not done properly as a geophysicist. So first thing is that you should collect best data sets, then you interpret any software use 2D resistivity, 2D REST, 2D REST info, any you use, and you should have a good background of geology and hydrogeology of the area. Then you will interpret them nicely. You see, I have showed you 2 examples. This is the only recent example, but I have worked many parts of the country in India, in different rock terrains, and hard rock terrain is very complex. Within a 50-meter property change there drastically. So we cannot generalize the thing here. So we have to look very carefully at the geological aspects, the data quality aspects, and then the inversion part, and also the signal theory. This thing combinedly, and then you have sound background of geology. Because see, how we have naturally delineated the fault structure, we cannot see from the ground itself where the fault is located. And we should also target whatever geological formations are there. And then when you drill it, we see how the water coming, what is the back pressure of the water is there. Then sometimes the driller goes drilling beyond that depth you should drill, because once you are getting back pressure, you should stop it. The software wise is that any software you use, but you should have a good data quality in the field.
Next question, please.
This is Dr. Dwarakesh from NIT Surathkal. First of all, I would like to congratulate all the speakers for excellent presentation. This question is to Dr. Devashish Kumar. You have shown satellite data set. What for you have used in your study?
Actually, this we have used only to plotting to see where our profiles are located and how these maps, what are the features on the land morphology I can locate it. This is only plot on the Google satellite I have put it. And also these things we can link with the DGPS data sets to see the elevation variations.
Maybe you can also use it.
Because as you know, any hydrological problem, you have to first look into how the elevation changes from topography. Because water table will follow the topography. That is very important.
Because you are from Hyderabad.
Yeah, I am from National Geophysical Institute. This is the first time I came here to present my work.
Yes,
anyhow, my many work in countries are there in hard rock.
No.
Presently, I
just wanted to tell about NRSC.
Yeah.
It is nearer to your organization only.
Okay.
Use that satellite data also you can use for LULC, that is land use land cover, geomorphology. Lot many things can be incorporated.
Correct. This is one recent sponsored work we have done as a research project. Recently we completed this work. I thought to present these recent findings.
So I think the questionnaire is over. I am extremely grateful to all the presenters to have honored the time frame stipulated by the organizers, and the presentations were also qualitatively quite satisfying. So for that point also, they deserve a huge applaud. Now, Dr. Pragya Sharma, please.